In this episode of the Leverage Lounge, we're sitting down with one of the sharpest minds in growth leadership. Russ Lagan, Vice President of Growth for EXP Realty's U.S. West region. This guy is known for not only his national impact, but he's also known for building real estate brands from 3,000 to 8,000 agents in just 24 months.
Hey, let's be clear, man. Like in that intro, I want to make sure everybody understands. I did it all by myself. Nobody helped me.
You're a superhero with no team. I like it. But you know
kidding.
what? Every superhero has an origin story.
Yeah.
I want to hear yours. Where did you start? How did you ultimately find your way to the VP of growth for EXP Realty?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you stand back and I don't know, man. Like I sit here sometimes, I'm like, how the heck did I get here? Haven't they figured out I don't know what I'm doing yet? Right? I mean, but that's the human thing, right? It's fail forward faster. Get out there, screw some stuff up and learn from it, and screw more stuff up and learn from it and screw stuff up. If you go back into your 20s, and I know you've had some times in your life, not that far back, remember the days when $10 was a big deal?
Yeah.
Like, I remember like when we were kids, you're like, $10, I got $10. Holy God, that was a lot.
I remember when cheeseburgers at McDonald's were 99 cents. And if you got a hamburger was 49 cents and the cheeseburgers were 99 cents.
Yeah. Yeah. So you go back in those days and like $10 was a big deal. If you lost $10, that was something you spent time thinking about. Right. And then you get to your teens and you're like $100 is a big deal. And you get to your 20s, $1,000, you got $1,000 problem. It's a problem. And then you get a little bit later into your 20s and you get into your 30s and it's like 10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40, you basically have 5-figure screw ups or 5-figure issues potentially. I always said in my 20s, I'm like, by the time I turn 40, I will have screwed up everything you can screw up. And then I turned 40 and I'm like, dang, now I'm just screwing up bigger stuff with more zeros attached to it. So you get into like the 6-figure and 7-figure screw ups, like some of the decisions we made in my later 30s and 40s, if you extrapolate it out over 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it could be $1 million mistakes, right? Yeah. So, and now, and then I turned 50 and I'm like, you'd think I'd get it. But like, again, we don't handle a conversation correctly and that brokerage doesn't move here. That could be a couple $1 million a year, that doesn't flow through the system. So that getting to the point where, you got it, and sometimes you don't. And it's like, and it's okay. I think, how did I get here? I'm okay with screwing it up. I don't ever screw it up on purpose. It's like, have you ever made a mistake on purpose? No. Like you did something with the best intentions, with the best ability you had and most thought through it the most you could. And then did you have an unintended consequence? Did you have an unintended result? Sure. Like I've never made a mistake. I've had unintended results. That's not what I was going for. But I think so many people, they're so scared to make a mistake, they just stop. And I don't know, like bravery or stupidity, dude, screw stuff up and own it. And learn from it and move on, right?
Be willing to bump into the walls and crash into some things along the way. Just don't break the whole thing, right? I think there's grace that's a part of that story, right? You have to be willing to give yourself grace, but then you also have to be able to have people around you that are willing to give you the grace to fail forward.
Yeah, it really is both. And I think surrounding yourself with the right people and being the person everybody knows you're all in on everything you do. So anything that's not a success or anything that's not a win isn't because your lack of effort, lack of knowledge, lack of ability, lack of trying, lack of preparation, lack of failures to get to the point where you can handle. Like for me now, if it doesn't close, it's not me. It's not me, right? Like you get to the point where you learn enough stuff, and there are times when you can say, well, if I went backwards, I could do that differently. But if I knew that beforehand, I would have done it differently the first time through. The only way I know that I didn't do it the way that was best for them is to find out that wasn't the best way for them. And sometimes, like you can make the most sense, you can make perfect sense, and the other person's just not ready. They're just not there. Yeah. It's not their moment, right? It's like, Mike, you ever bake anything?
Yeah.
You bake a cake, right? Like, I don't like baking at all. Baking is a precision game, right? You mess up a little too much flour, a little too much butter, a little too much shortening, a little too much anything, the whole thing's a mess, right? So you end up with basically putty or glue or something that's not, again, unintended results, right? I've had a number of failures making chocolate souffle. Now, that is one thing that I'm good at failing. And I'm telling you what, when you fail, it kind of turns into like lava cake. So it's not that bad, right? So
not bad.
Like, make things that if you screw it up, it's still not that bad.
That's right.
But if you pull the cake out and it's not done baking, what do? You just throw it in the garbage? You're like, I'm done. Throw it out? No, you stick it back in the freaking oven, right? And I think a lot of people don't realize there's times when you pull it out, you check it and you're like, it's not ready yet. I pull it out and check it all the time. Like people bring people to me and I'm like, they're not done cooking yet, man. Stick them back in the oven. They're like, what? Like it's obvious that they're not ready for whatever reason they're not ready. And I think being the right person at the right place at the right time, it's all three.
We have people that are in real estate. We have some big real estate players who listen to this podcast, but we also have people outside of real estate, just big business owners. We talk about leverage on this podcast, right? And how to go from small business to big business and the levers that we pull along the way in order to scale without burning out. And so what is your role? What does the VP of growth even do?
Yeah. So a bunch of things, right? Supporting the things that help people grow the business. Funny enough, I talk a lot about production. A lot about selling the product, and in real estate side, it's trading time for money, selling houses. It's you sell a house, you get paid, sell a house, you get paid, sell a house, you get paid. That's one of our recipes. And then the other recipe that we do that's unique within our ecosystem is people also equals cash. So being able to surround yourself with the right people. So sometimes people say, well, Russ, I don't want to build a team. I said, I don't want you to build a team either. Like if you're not going to be directly engaged in the helping of them selling a house and closing a house and being involved in their business of selling houses, I don't want you to build a team either. But you can build an organization. So there are people that like to be around you, Mike, and to say, you know what? If once a week I did a training on how to sell more houses, are there people that want to be around that? Yeah. Do I want to be responsible for their day-to-day activity? Not so much. So could they be in an organization and build kind of like I like to call it like a minor league, get a bunch of people around there. It's like, and at some point I could have 2 and 3 and 4 and 500 and thousands of people in there versus on a team with the actual application of selling houses. There is an upper limit. For some people, it's 3, 4, 5 people. For some people, it's 60, 70, 80. And then you get this combination of the two that makes it really unique, particularly within our industry, the ability to have both, basically, have a team and have an organization. The challenge with a team a lot of times is the more people you get on the team, the more responsibility you have, the more liability you have.
Correct.
In building an organization, the more people you have, the more freedom you have. The more people they get, the more liability and responsibility they get. They don't get more freedom when they get more people, typically. So with the organization, the more people you get, the more freedom you get because you get the income without the boat anchor of having to do the time to make the donut stuff.
We're in a society right now where the hustle, the grind mentality, that hustle culture, I think is truly killing the entrepreneur. It's killing the aspirational individual who wants to build something and is actually looking out, whether it's on social media or wherever, they're looking for some type of example, something that resonates with where they want to be in life. And what you see is these examples of people who have the things, they have the shiny objects, they have the money, they have some of the freedom, but they talk about how they got there, and the way they got there was hustle, hustle, hustle. You got to work harder. And most people, if we're honest, they don't want that for themselves. Maybe even if they did want that, they have a family, they've got kids, they've got a spouse, somebody else who loves them.
Well, hang on, man. You got to be willing to sacrifice.
Right. That's what we hear.
Let's hit the pause button. What's the most important thing to you?
Time with my family.
Family. Yeah. I hear that all the time. And then I hear the prognosticators out there saying, you need to sacrifice, you need to, and like 5 a.m., the 5 a.m. club. I mean, listen, I'm not like, if you guys are 5 a.m. club, knock yourselves out, right? But if you have to wake up at 5 a.m. to be able to generate the income that you need to make to be able to do the thing that you do, I would say you need to realign your goals, because if you're sacrificing yourself and your family to get to those things, like that doesn't make any sense at all. I don't think anybody at the end of their life says, man, I wish I'd woken up more and been more beat up and more tired and more dollars in my pocket. They're all like, I wish I'd spent more time with my family. I wish I'd been more present. Here's how we do it. What were some of the core systems, the rhythms that made that kind of exponential growth possible and replicable? Learning that, number one, none of this nonsense that I say is going to impress anybody. It's like who I am and what I do was what was getting my people's Mike, back in 2005, 6, 7, I was learning that people, like, you got to do this and this and this. You know where I got my business from? Back when I was selling houses. You know where my business came from, Mike?
People you knew?
Mountain biking.
Mountain biking. Okay. Tell me more.
I'm riding on my mountain bike. And I got Gary Ewell. I remember it like it was yesterday. This dude would find me And he'd pull up behind me and we're riding through the trails and he's back there peppering me with questions because he had questions about what was going on in the real estate market. Because back then the market was getting jacked, right? Yeah. He had a daughter that wanted to move out of the house and they were kind of stuck and she'd been living there a little long. And he's like, when do I do this? When do I do this? And then he had Hunter was the guy that ran Iron Man store. The first Iron Man store ever was in Wesley Chapel, Florida. And I used to pop in there because I started racing triathlon too. I would pop in the store and Hunter's like, dude, don't leave without talking to me. Like the people that I was doing things with that I enjoyed knew I was the real estate guy and they knew I'd shoot them straight and they knew I knew what was going on in the market. And Hunter had 3 properties that he was upside down on. And he's like, as soon as these things get back to even, I'm dumping all 3 of them. And I said, as soon as those things get back to even, you should keep them because now you can cash flow on them. And he's like, what? Wait, what? I'm like, let's sit down and talk through the numbers. He's like, why are you going to go through all these years of losing your butt to get to the point where you can make money and then you walk away from just hold them for 5 more years, make up the 5 years you lost and then sell them at a profit. And by the way, they're going up in price still. Like, why would you sell them when the price is going up? Yeah. And he's like, oh my God, dude. Like, I just want them out of my life. I'm like, I get that, but let's have them in your life with intention to solve a problem, not create more problems. The problem is you've got them in your life creating problems. So we can keep them in your life where they're solving problems. Probably a good thing, right? So it's a matter of just being out there and doing the things that you do. And then people will ask you naturally, what do you do? Like I learned to convert that conversation.